Welcome. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Professional Winner Show. You already know what it is. We are here with a special guest. And for me, it's actually really, it's pretty crazy because, you know, for me, I'm a photographer. I do videography. I do a little bit of everything. But this guy does it all. And he does that shit professionally. And it's proven literally on IMDb. Like,
he said
bro.
It's proven on IMDb. Hey, we got receipts.
Welcome, Jamal Hodge.
Google him.
Yo, Jamal, my brother. Long time coming, man.
Yeah, man. It's good to be here with you guys.
Welcome, man.
Yeah, welcome, my brother. Yo, so we always started off on the Professional Podcast. Tell us about you, who you are. Go back to when you was in diapers. We want to know it all, man. We want to really dive into it.
The first time I took a shit on myself. Yeah, my name is Jamal Hodge. I was born and raised. I'm trying to say something cool like fucking in Gladiator. Father to like, you know, some shit like that. I'm a commodus of this shit. No. I was born in way back in the days. I won't say what year because I'm that old now. But I was born in the South Bronx.
Nice.
On the Grand Concourse. Literally on the Grand Concourse on the street.
I was
born in Bronx.
I was trying to imagine that.
I think Bronx, Lebanon I was born in. You know, I was the third of eventually 7 kids. My mom's kind of raised us, you know, she did the best she could under the circumstances that we was in. Life was good. I was always kind of like, I wouldn't say I was always kind of like the big brother because my older brother Kwazik, he was, before he went through what he went through, he was like really like a guy I looked up to. He was like the father figure of the family. Eventually that became me. And then eventually these little niggas stop respecting anybody, right? You know what I mean? It's bound to happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. but yeah, you know, I kind of had like a rough upbringing. I was eventually we lost our apartment because there was like people shot through it was like a shootout. Bullets came through the ceiling. Crazy stuff was going on. So my mom was trying to find a place for us. Nobody would help us. We ended up out in the street. It started my journey through the human misery and suffering. You know, I was always like a really good kid. Like naturally, my normal state was to be. I was such a good kid that in preschool that they built awards for me, just like congeniality awards. You know what I'm saying? I would just always go and talk to the people, the cooks, janitor, everybody. I would just always have conversation. I was always interested in people's stories. You know what I mean? So it was like a precursor to my love of stories, because I think like a love of stories is also a love connected to a love of people and a love of life. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's not really supported in our, you know, in impoverished communities, right? When you're in the hood, you're in the ghetto, you're in the grime, you know, aggression, violence, things like that is more like back in the days. We're talking about the 80s, right? It was more, you know, the 80s New York. You know how that was. Crack era is all fucked up. Can I say?
You say whatever you want to say.
All right, cool.
It's your platform today. We just here.
It was fucked up, guys.
So fucked up. No, but anybody knows, like, it's crazy the shit we used to do. Like, I remember we was in Spanish Harlem, this shelter in Spanish Harlem, where they'll give you an apartment for a while, but everybody in that building was fucked up, right? I guess we was a little fucked up too. And we would go out and wrestle, but it would be like all these vacant lots. It'll be like a dirty mattress. You just be slamming people on it. Your lips be touching that shit. Like, the shit that she just went in the law nowadays. It was crazy. Crackheads were running around. Your parents were nowhere around. It was just a crackhead, like, Walking Dead zombie motherfuckers. It was crazy. I'll be looking back and I'm like, yo, that shit was like a fever dream. So I was like, yo, how is this going on? Like,
just another day.
The important question is, how do we survive that? Though?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was bugged out. People on the train, like, just random crazy shit on the train. AC technology wasn't that good. Niggas was hot, sweaty on them old trains. You know what I mean? It was bugged out in New York back in the day. It's like late 80s, early 90s. But there was a certain energy there, and you never felt like there was more community, less commercialism. So you still felt connected to the people you felt connected to more, because we didn't really have social media like that growing up. But so the only people that really knew your stories were the people next to you.
Yeah.
And you really cared about how you looked like to them, who they were, what was going on with them. So there was more intimacy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That we kind of lost with all this new technology. But to make a long story short of my childhood, it was pretty fucked up. I was in some abusive foster homes and shit, ready to beat the shit out of, throw down the stairs. Just crazy people. And eventually my mom fought, because they tricked her out of her kids. Because we was at the Martinique Radisson. Now it's called, it's like a big hotel now on 34th Street, but it should be the worst shelter in New York. And I actually lived in there. We basically lived in almost like in garbage. It was like there was garbage outside the window that was piled up because she was on the bottom floor. It was crazy stuff, right? But you know, we came up out of all of that. And my mom's got her kids back. She fought to get us back. We got back together in Far Rockaway, Queens. My mother was very smart. She kept us, even though we was gonna do all that stuff, she wanted to add some stability to our lives. So she kept us going to school on the Lower East Side. So all my schools, PS2, IS 131, and Seward Park were all in the Lower East Side area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was weird because it was like, there was mad like Chinese immigrants back in the days over there. Yeah. So most of my school life, it was I would come out of a black neighborhood and go to a school where I predominantly, there weren't really like black people or Spanish people until I got to high school. So like I would be like the only black guy in the classroom. I would be like part of the 5% of the population. So it gave me like a really weird upbringing where I always felt like I was kind of like an outlier on stuff. I was never quite a part of anything. So I was always the observer, observing other people in their lives or other communities or even my own culture. Mm. So it was very interesting.
As a successful director though, and being in a world where there's probably not a lot of black people in Hollywood or in the film world, do you think that upbringing kind of allow you to maneuver and be more successful in the space you're in now?
I mean, I definitely like playing in the snow. I be making black snow angels. I be in the snow and shit, all these white people. But no, there's definitely a lot of people descended from the Caucasus Mountains. No. There's a lot of white people there, right? So, I mean, but most people want the same thing. And I think like everybody has a type beyond their skin tone. There's a spiritual type that we all have. There's the skin that unifies us, the culture that unifies us. But there's also, I mean, in my belief on a spiritual level, not to get too esoteric, we're all fragments of God wearing skin, having a different experience so that God can really understand himself. Or itself. I shouldn't say himself, itself. So there's always a piece of you inside any other human being you meet.
I agree with that.
And a lot of times, the bigger the piece is, the more you guys will connect just naturally. And artists are really connected to the manifestation, the spiritual part, very spiritual beings, especially storytellers. So I find like in that space, it's easy to connect, at least for me, to people who observe life and love life and are into trying to create some value for other human beings while they're here, trying to give hope to this kind of like hopeless context, right? Because without stories, what are we? We're just animals that are alive, doomed to die. Yeah. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So it's kind of like the stories that we tell, it makes life worth living. I mean, the main thing that people are trying to escape is reality. Mm-hmm. Because there's no hope in just pure reality, but there's hope in each other, in others, in the impact that we can leave inside of another person, inside of a society. So that's why I feel like, art is like the gateway to immortality, not identity immortality, but the immortality of your efforts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which is all we could hope for. Yeah. And also like, smashing, having a bunch of kids out of wedlock and creating an army of children that will eventually go into politics and take over the world.
That's humanity right there, I guess.
Which is my evil master plan. Yeah, evil master plan.
Got to work behind the scenes, control the people in front.
but back to just how I came up. I went through all of that, but eventually I found a program called DCTV, and they had a program called Pro TV, and they allowed I came in early. I used to be mad skinny, but I thought I was the hardest dude in the world.
How old
was
was you?
16.
You 16?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was 16. Wow. I thought I was the best fight in the world because I was all street fighting and I was winning most of the time, and I was an enforcer in the gang, and I was like, I was even in the Scare Straight program. That's a super funny story. I don't think we got enough time for that story.
Oh no, we got enough time. Go straight into it. We're gonna stop. No 16. No Scare Straight. Skip it. We'll come back to the.
Come back to that.
Let's go to Scare Straight.
All right. So Scare Straight.
Yeah, we gonna go. We need that. We going straight into Scare Straight.
Violation.
Yeah, we going straight to the violation.
I guess it worked though, because I really stopped going. So me and my older brother used to fight a lot, really bad ways, and it's called the Hodge brothers. So we used to be the central booking so much. Oh, it's the Hodge brothers again. Oh, yeah, because we would never press charges on each other because we were brothers, but we used to be doing crazy stuff to each other, right? But so I was kind of like a knucklehead. I would get into fights, and I was just like a person that was like, I was really obsessed with revenge because, like I was a really good kid, but then I felt like, nothing good survives. So I started,
I was about to say
at a young age, that's deep to feel like that.
I started feeling bad, and I started like, everything around me. I started getting depressed, like hopelessness. I started thinking that everything that I've ever seen, everybody I've ever talked to, every tree that I ever saw is gonna die one day. And I was just like, fuck, this is messed up. So I was like, then I saw Star Wars, and I was like, this Palpatine guy, he's onto something. I was at the wrong role model. I was like,
I'm dead.
Hey, that guy, that old white guy in the robes?
That's your role model?
Killed the Jedi.
He's saying something.
Damn.
So I was like, yo, man, let me use my hatred. I have a lot of it. So people will fuck with me, and I would OD. Like, this is one kid, he got the better of me in a fight. I fell down the stairs. So I just stalked him for months. I would just throw him down the stairs every time I saw him. And he would just be like, please. Like, why? I wouldn't do it. So they thought I was crazy. He didn't understand anymore. He didn't want to fight back no more. He was just scared. He was like, I was terrorizing this guy. So he would just be like, I was bugged out. I would look forward to it every day. I was like, miss class. I'm going to the bathroom.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I was like...
Yo, that's a movie itself, bro. Oh my god.
Yo, man, it was crazy.
Yeah, so you definitely needed to Scare Straight.
Yeah, well, they gave me so a lot of the friends I rode with were really bad people, but I liked them because they were honest people.
Yeah.
To me, they were closer to reality. Like a lot of the good kids were, they had brought into the collective fantasy of life. But I had seen the dark side of life, so I couldn't buy into that fantasy. So these were the only kids I could connect with. I guess this is how some people who are in war feel when they come back. Yeah. And they can only deal with like certain people because they can't fit back into regular society. So I felt like that. So I was like, I can fit in with these guys because they at least are closer to reality, right? Yeah. How the world works from what I knew. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where like, strength was important. Dominance was important. Having things, having respect was important. You know what I'm saying? Rather than, if I just do my grades, it's this life waiting for me that's going to be thing and life is all going to work out. No, dummy. You're going to suffer. But I, at that point, I had thought suffering was bad. I was trying to avoid suffering, which is where that's like the root of all evil, right? It's people trying to avoid suffering. You just sit in the suffering and learn. That's when the growth happens, and that's where the happiness comes from. But I didn't know that at that age. I was too young. So like, I was rolling around with a bunch of stupid people doing stupid shit, but I never would really like rob people. And I was not a criminal. I was just a violent person. So if somebody messed with me, I would OD. I wouldn't stop, so they gave me like a psychologist, Tammy Sams, love you. She introduced me to Frank Dow, who's my first black male role model, really changed my life. And then from there, I still was in on the street. So I was part of Spectre. It was like this program where Tammy put me in as well. And it was, you talk to police and stuff like that. So they put me in the Scare Straight program because it was like, you're kind of a knucklehead after throwing that kid down the stairs a bunch of times. Which was, they were right. I'm surprised that they were they were lenient on me. You know, I guess people always saw like that I was really like a good person doing bad things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they always had like a heart for me. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people invested over the years. So like they were like, yo, you go to spot. So they said I'm on my 16th birthday.
Yeah.
They didn't know it was my birthday, right? So it's April 22nd. And I'm like, oh, it's my birthday and stuff like that. I'm the tallest guy there.
Yeah.
The blackest guy there, right? On the bus. I have like my boy who will remain nameless. He had his girlfriend who was also a knucklehead. She was hot though, I remember. I was like, everybody wanted to smash, but he was like, whoever he was like, so we talking mad shit on the bus on the way. Yo, man, somebody come to me, yo. Yeah. But he's talking the craziest stuff. He'll be like, yeah, we listen to him like, yeah, man, he's definitely gonna pop off. We ain't gonna take it. They're like, all right. So we get in there. They introduce these brolic dudes. Like 2 of them were like crazy brolic. We're all sitting in the room. They come in. Oh, who here smokes? And the same dude like, yo, I smoke. They threw him a pack of cigarettes. He grabbed it. He was like, yo, you got 2 packs of me? Dude was like, no. Like, yo, put your hand in my pocket. Put your hand in my pocket. And mind you, his girlfriend's there. So I'm like, he ain't gonna put his hand in his pocket. He puts his hand in his pocket.
Oh my god.
He's walking around.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man.
I just burst out laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. Oh, you think shit is funny? You think shit is funny? And so one dude, his breath was terrible. So like every time he was talking to people, they'd be blinking. Right? So they be having no quick blinks like,
yo, I thought I'd never be jealous of a scared straight moment. Like, I'm like, damn, I should have been there.
Nah.
Yo, so I'm trying not to laugh, but these dudes are hilarious, man. Because they trying to be so scary, but they're so funny at the same time. So I'm like, I just couldn't stop laughing at a certain point. So they thought I was crazy. So they was trying to press me and shit. They came up the stage. It's like, yo, sit down. Because I stood up. Sit down. What you gonna do? You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit. You gonna shit. And I sat down. I was tight. Niggas just too big. I was assessing the situation. Download information. I'm trying to get in. I couldn't find a way out.
Nah.
It's too brolic.
Like, I'm gonna sit down.
Yeah.
I had to sit my ass down.
Yeah.
And then dude came in, was like, yo, man, because I sat in the front row and shit. But dude was walking around with the cigarettes. He had his hand in his pocket. They took his girl's ring or some shit. They tried to walk out with it. Like, crazy stuff. But it ended up being funny. Like, they took our kicks. They threw it. That's why I stood up. They threw our kicks out the door. Like, yo, give me your kicks. And they just beat this shit out the door.
That's crazy.
In the 90s, your kicks was everything, son. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, your sneakers was everything back in the 90s, man. So it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yo, that's an amazing story. And I'm sorry to segue you off your, how you got into film, which is the most important part of this conversation.
I know, but it's just
that was a gem, man.
There's a lot of crazy stories to tell, man.
Yeah,
it gave you the discipline that you needed to get to where you are.
Nah, man, because other people were pressing me.
Okay.
Hold on. Gabe thought he was on to something. He like, yeah, that's what gave me the discipline. Nah, I still was wilding.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, that day was crazy because after that, they kept me there. Dude was just talking to me. It's like, yo, man, I see you don't care about your life. I was like, yo, what are you talking about? It's like, in person here laughing. They thought I was like super hard, like I didn't care about my life. It's just, they were funny. Yeah. I couldn't help them to not laugh. This shit was hilarious. So I was like, yeah. He's like, yo, because mine escaped that. I thought this guy was cool. He was like, yeah, when I escaped, I killed the guy who snitched him. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Whoa.
He said, he was like the coolest guy. He was the craziest dude in there.
Oh, how was he out though? He's like, I killed the
guys who put him in jail. It was crazy.
Wow.
He was crazy. He was bugged out. He's like, yeah, don't throw your life away like me. I'm not going to do what you did, homie. Like, I'm not.
Oh, he was one of the guys that was in jail.
Yeah,
I was like, how he out? Oh, yeah, he wasn't in the Scared Straight program. He was in the jail.
Some girl was crying because they were switching us out of cells, and some dude saw her. He pulled his dick out.
Oh my God,
man!
Like, I'm still confused. Like, how'd that guy even go to Scared Straight program with his girl like it was a date or some shit?
And then the janitor, he took my hat. He took my hat. He was brolic. He's like, yo, that's a nice hat. He took my hat.
She said, babe, where we going? Scared straight program today.
She's a romantic relationship. Like,
So we going to the movies? Nah. We going on this bus.
two knuckleheads in love.
That's crazy.
Bonnie and Clyde. Was it Bonnie and Clyde? Nah.
After that, they broke up.
Yo.
Well, you like to do hands and
Dude got emasculated.
Oh man.
He wasn't protecting shit. He was
Yeah.
soft.
Yeah.
And that's why I learned, like, the guy who talks the most is always the softest dude.
Mm,
You know? And when you're a teenager, you always think that's the hardest guy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the softest guy.
Yeah.
Always. 9 times out of 10.
Damn.
You know? So, but it was crazy. It was a fun experience. When I look back on it, it was really fun. They took me out after they know it was my birthday. They was like, "Oh shit, it's your birthday!" The cops, they all took us out to eat. And
Oh, wow.
They felt bad about that. I was like, nah, because everybody kept on trying to fuck with me, and I kept on having to flex on everybody. I was the tallest guy.
Yeah.
Like the janitor, he took my hat. I had to press him.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get beat up for everybody. Dude was mad. You know when you're young,
Yeah.
you don't want to take an L. Like you don't want to take an
Yeah.
L when you're young. So
Yeah.
How tall are you? 6'6"?
6'3"
Six-
almost
oh, wow.
6'3", like
Damn.
6'2", 6'3". But I was skinny as hell back then. I was like not even 205 probably.
That's
Like
all right,
190.
Yeah, I'm still growing, so I'm gonna get to you soon.
You are not still gone, bro. You like 27.
As
You
long as
done.
your boy told you. I ain't want to say it, man. I ain't want to say it, man.
You have Pete. I got to deal with the fact that
I
I'm
ain't wanna say
5'4".
it.
It's all right.
Oh, man.
I
But
figured
yeah,
out.
but after that, man, that led me to Pro TV at DCTV, and that's when my life really started to change. And also with Frank Dow, who got wrestling him, you know, he really poured a lot into me. He got me off of smoking blunts. He told me I couldn't wear full fatigues no more because I was on Fifth Avenue going to his gym at Fifth Avenue. He was super broad. Like, he was like one of the fourth best sprinter in America.
Wow.
You know, so like he was really good. And you know, he had his whole gym called Body Sculptor on Fifth Avenue. And he passed away like 2 years ago. A year ago? No, 2 years.
Dang.
Yeah.
2 years ago. From like high blood pressure because of the whole stress of this whole COVID shit. It's crazy.
Damn, that's
Wow.
unfortunate. That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
a really great man. And he poured a lot into me about what it meant to be a man, and that's when my life started to change. And then I went to DCTV. I was in a program called Pro TV, and I started learning film. They told us everything about film. We was doing tape to tape editing. Our
Dang.
young boys don't know about that shit. Tape to tape editing, man. You have a deck here and a deck here. If you made a mistake on your edit, you had to start all over again.
What?
It was actually recording from the live footage onto an empty tape in sequence.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I learned how to edit. That's why I'm such a good editor now to this day.
Damn,
All
I'm
my
about to
films I edited.
have to take some lessons.
So you not only direct it, you
crazy.
also do the editing?
Yeah, everything.
I had no idea. That's all you?
I used to shoot. I've been a DP for 5 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wanted one of the things that I shot partially a documentary called Bullets in the Hood. It won Sundance in 2005. So you know I've been at it for a little bit. You know,
To win Sundance is major. But the fact I know you're a great writer. So I've read what you wrote. You wrote something on me. But I didn't know you was editing also. So Gabe, when you do it all, know that there's people out there doing it all. Don't feel bad about it, man.
I mean the way I see it is all connected.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a storyteller, but everything that I do is just clothes. It's like putting on different clothes, and different stories require a different medium. Like there's different things you could do on stage that you could do in a book, that you can do in a film, or that you even could do in television. Those are all different mediums and ways to tell the same story. So it seems like it's diverse, but it's not as diverse. It's just like learning the dialect. It's like the same language, but like a little cadence different. Like if you go, they have a different accent. It's like different accents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like if you look at it that way, it's a lot easier because if you really think about it, all learning is language. Yeah, all learning is language. Like once you think about that, you can learn faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, what's the vowels of this industry? What's the, of this action? What's the tools? The tools are like the vowels. You know what I'm saying? They're like, or the alphabet. You know what I mean? Of that language. And once you know that, then you can start forming words. You can combine them in different ways. Those different tools, and you start learning, and you start learning how to speak within that. Yeah, if you think of learning as language, it helps. It makes you learn faster. That's what I find. So I don't think it's that amazing. I just think it's just a perspective. You know what I'm saying? That
Definitely.
anybody could do. You know, but anything. Like if you know at the root, at the core, what you are, there's so many branches on that tree. You know? But yeah, you know, DCTV really helped me. I learned so much. I traveled. They sent me to Siberia as my first. I know Russia is not that popular right now, but they sent me to Russia as my first place I've ever been outside the city. Changed my life because I used to really hate white people when I was younger.
Why is that though?
Because they're white people.
Nah. I do not condone that statement.
No,
but why is that though?
I mean,
and you grew up poor. You grew up in a poor black area, so I'm pretty sure there's stigmas and things like that. But...
I mean, you know, the most amazing thing in America is that black people are willing to be white people's friends. If you think about the history of this country. It sounds messed up to say that, but it's not when you think about it. It's almost a form of it's one of the greatest forms of humanity, right? That's even a possibility. That we go into each other's homes, we intermarry with each other, that we can love each other and stuff like that. It's pretty remarkable. Because in most other countries, almost in no other country in the world where there was a form of slavery, does the population, when they're free, stay and live with the same people that enslaved them. That's never really happened almost entirely in human history. If you look at Moses and you know, stuff like that, the Jews left Egypt.
Yeah.
They didn't try to stay there and live with the Egyptians and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be cool, let's be friends.
So why you think is that in America?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with America's a very unique place. It's a place where people they accept rebelliousness and new possibilities. America is very, whatever you want to say about America, it's one of the only places in the world that encourages forward thinking.
And
we don't focus on the past as much as the future in America.
But do you, like, for instance,
most nations don't. They do the opposite because they're younger nations.
Yeah.
Older nations, I'm sorry. So they have long histories.
Yeah.
So they look to their histories a lot. But America is a young nation that's constantly looking towards its future.
Is that why you think all of these countries are always looking towards America in a way, you know?
Well, we used to be, you know, a beacon of hope for the future because we were the place where, hey, you hurt me, but hey, we can have a fresh start and we can work together. Yeah. But we lost that somewhere along the way because honestly, rich white people sold out the country for extra dollars. They sold out the legacy of the country. They blame everybody. They blame the immigrants. They blame these people and that people and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's your own institutions that sold you out.
And we're a country full of immigrants.
Do you think that's a bad way of thinking though? Like for instance, like do you think that, for instance,
there's pros and cons?
Yeah. Do you think like I have amazing friends who are white, right? Yeah. Now, do you think they deserve to suffer because of what their ancestor does, or should I look at them differently because of our history and what we've been through? Or do you how do you feel about that progressive thinking and understanding that there's a past to everything and there's some negativity to everything?
I don't believe that people deserve to suffer in general, but I do think there's a certain level of accountability that we all have. No, okay. The myth of individualism is what creates a lot of the problems and a lot of friction in communities, especially Black and white community, in my opinion. I feel like, yes, you as an individual, you didn't do anything directly, and at some point we have to move forward, right? I always believe 80% present and future, 20% in the past, right? That's where your mindset should be. But if you still benefiting off of the systems and these things like that, and you know, so this is the thing, right? I was really proud during the 2020 when people got out there and marched, and it was mostly like white people marching for Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. A lot of these young people, I feel like it really warmed my heart because I never thought the day I would see that to that degree. Yeah. But it doesn't change the fact that there is a certain level of accountability until white people will be like, you know what? I would like to be. I could be black in America. I would like to be. If you ask any white person, would you want to be a black person in America? What would they say?
They're gonna say.
So
wait. Can I say the N-word? No.
No. I mean, it's just a reality, right? They would say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that if you say
and to be honest, like I don't agree with that. Like, why would you?
But what I'm saying is that
that's like asking you, like, would you want to be a homeless person? Right now, I know it's a stretch, but like, hear me out, right? Like, why would you want to be?
Actually, John, I was a homeless person.
Me and you.
What are you trying to say, man?
Yeah, me and you. We both know how that feel, right? But at the same time, it's like if I'm privileged in a specific type of way, why would I want to lose my privilege, right? Now, just because I'm privileged, I don't want you to take what I own. I don't want you to take what I got. Yeah. But does that mean I not care about you?
No,
does that not mean that I don't think about your,
so.
your problems or your issues?
I mean, the way I see it, even if somebody's racist, it doesn't mean that they're completely exempt as a human being. You could be a racist person and be completely a great father, great family man, great business person, all that stuff. It's one aspect of the individual. It's a bad aspect of the individual that needs to be condemned, but you don't have to throw out the whole baby with the bathwater. I'm not saying that.
Got you.
What I'm saying is that you can't feign ignorance, like you don't know the discrepancies in people's situation anymore.
Yes.
And a lot of these white people, these young people that are not racist, that are just moving through the world, a lot of them, they try to do that sometimes. And that's the problem a lot of times with them. That they don't even want to acknowledge the grievances or the discrepancies, yet they would not want to be a black person in this country. You see what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying.
And that's just the reality of it. But me, I have a lot of white friends. There's people that I consider my family that are Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Thompson, Chase, Mirator, a bunch of them. Craig Renaud, like a lot of them.
And speaking of friends and connections, let's go into something that I think is very important. And we talked about this off camera, but let's talk about it on camera. Recently there was a big time journalist that passed away due to the Ukraine and Russia conflict.
Craig Renaud,
Yes. And I know you was close with his family, specifically his brother.
Yeah.
And I seen that you post something talking about him and his impact and how amazing he was. And let's just clarify something too before we continue on that. I don't think Jamal is racist, right? He's saying how he feel, but like I've seen you, even your DP.
I love white people.
Yeah, one of your closest
Asian people, white people,
one of your closest,
all the above.
Yeah, like I've seen you work with all different types of people. That's relationship wise. I've seen you work with all different types of people, but specifically, I've seen you go to bat for like what just happened with the journalist in Ukraine and how close you are to his family. Yeah. So talk about that a little bit, the impact of, how that affected you, the Ukraine and Russia situation and losing a close friend due to him doing what he loves to do and being a journalist in a war zone area.
Well, I don't feel like it's my place to talk about it too much, but I will say this. Brent was a guy who commanded respect everywhere he was. He was fearless. And his impact was mainly from his example more than anything else on how he lived his life. A lot of times as artists, we can end up feeling like we don't understand the importance of what we do. It's easy to forget. During going through the monotony and stress of life and but being able to tell somebody stories like that, to show the world, to shine a light, to give people a voice who are being killed or in these zones, these conflict zones. I mean, what could really be a more noble task than that? A more noble way to live your life. So it's something definitely worth dying for. You know what I mean? And having the courage to die for something, to die for others, you don't want to, and nobody wants to, but that's a possibility. It really just sparked, it makes you look back on the work that you've done and being like, wow, this is something that we get to do. This is a not only a privilege, but a duty and a calling. And seeing that the impact that he had on so many people's lives, I want to have that same impact. So it really inspired me to be excited about what I do again.
Yeah.
Not fall into the monotony of it and understanding the importance of it, not taking it for granted. And I think that's a message and a part of his legacy for everybody. You know what I mean? Other journalists, but also filmmakers, writers, artists in general. Like, we give voice to the voiceless. We protect people, souls, their minds. We protect the truth. You know what I'm saying? We protect the truth. And ultimately, the truth is what matters about being alive,
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I see it as that, like, yo, I'm going to tell the truth in my art. I'm going to get out there. And I think Brent for reminding me of that. See,
and I feel like the one beauty behind that too is that, like, he was so passionate enough to even do it, Yeah. And I feel like let's go and relate back to you. Where do you think your passion derives from?
Pain. Trying to reconcile pain. I've been trying to figure it out my whole entire life. Like, why do we suffer?
Yeah.
Why is it that in every living thing, the one thing they have in common is suffering? The Buddhists, they talk about this a lot, Buddhism. And everything suffers, you know what I'm saying? So everything is on some level deserving of compassion, because everything suffers. No matter how successful you think somebody is, and you're looking at them, no matter how poor you think somebody is, everybody in life is suffering. Everybody alive has felt pain, emotional pain, physical pain of some type, loss, fear, sometimes terror. And everybody over a certain age, if they're 60 years old, usually they've lost their parents. They've had to bury the people they love the most. You know what I'm saying? But we don't think that when we're walking through the street. We just see obstacles or symbols of something, because the brain wants to work for efficiency, right? It doesn't want to work for, it doesn't want to do the work. Like, oh, I got to really see you. That takes effort, right? And it takes me away from my focus. But everybody is suffering at some level. Everybody you see in the world needs help. Bill Gates needs help.
And a follow-up question to that. See, if there's beauty in everything, and, as we live and breathe, what is the beauty behind the ability to feel pain and suffering?
Well, the beauty, in my opinion, I don't got the answer. You ain't got the answers, Sway. but I don't got the answers like that. Yeah. But what I think is that the beauty of pain it comes from the ability to reconcile it. That's how, I'm able to talk about my past and things that happened to me because I was able to go past it because I made it useful to others. So the way to redeem your pain and to set yourself free is to make it useful for others. So no matter what you've been through, anything, abuse, rape, whatever, the worst things you imagine, starvation, whatever it might be, if you can take that experience and then share it with somebody going through that experience in a way that gives them hope or strength, it frees you from the hopelessness of that experience. Now there's meaning attached to that experience. And now it means something that you went through that purpose, because you going through that was to save this person, or was to save these people, or was to help these people. So
I feel like you just read some of my speeches, but we're gonna talk about that another time. I swear, like, everybody, like, I've always been like this weird person. Like, why are you so open with talking about your trauma, with your family, with your issues? And I'm like, it's not about me. Like, I don't enjoy this. Like, I don't know why you guys assume that I just want to do this for fun. I just feel like it can add something to your life, or maybe put you in a position where you gotta understand that there's no excuses, man. We all go through things. We're all unique. We look at our pain different. We understand things different. Our perspective is so important, right? But I do it for you. And I know to some people that's weird. Like, man, nobody's doing nothing for nobody. Everybody has a motive. Everybody doing something for some reason. But sometimes it's like, I don't know what I really get out of being depressed right now. But helping you maybe. And I gotta go through this anyway. Like, I have to, even when I'm not talking, my brain is telling me these problems. My brain is talking to me about my trauma. So since I gotta deal with this shit anyway, maybe if it helps 100 of you, maybe I feel a little bit better about the shit that I can't control my thoughts. Yeah. And I think it's just so powerful how you put it in words and that perspective. And I needed that. Thank you.
Nah, that was beautiful. And let's take a break real quick. We're gonna get Jamal another drink here. And we're gonna hear a little bit more about his life and like the future.
Yeah,
things
we're gonna start name dropping.
A little bit more present moments. So
yeah. All right, thank you.
I'm in this book edited by Michael Bailey. It's an anthology, short stories and poetry. And Stephen King is also in the book with us, as well as Langston Hughes. So, and Linda Addison, the great Linda Addison, who's also.
Oh, I said Steven Spielberg. I'm sorry, Stephen King.
It was Stephen King. Yeah, I was like, what?
I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
that's amazing.
Yeah. So it's amazing to be in the book with so many people that Cindy O'Quinn, so many amazing people that have been around in the game for like. It's funny because I only got like 40 or so, 50 or so published things. Mm-hmm. These people
only I only got 40 published.
These people, they got like 400.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but
300.
Talking about Stephen King and some of the biggest,
people
but
to be in a space with those guys and those gals who I really look up to in a lot of ways is really incredible. I mean,
keep the mic close to you. I got you.
I mean, it's really incredible to be in the same space as those men and women who are, especially like Linda, a few other pioneers. It's great, and on top of that, I got asked by Sumiko and Linda to basically there was a book called 100 Women in Horror. Mm. So I'm the editor on the male version, which is like 50 Black men in horror. So I'm interviewing all the big Black men in horror writers and stuff like that. And I mean some incredible people. Like one of them was called Ace Antonio Hall. He's the first winner for like YA novel, best YA novel from the Horror Writers Association. So he won a Stoker for that. And he was telling me something that I thought was really powerful. He was like, somebody was always telling him about how he changed his name is Nzombi or something like that. Sorry if I'm butchering it, Ace. His African name, he kind of had strayed away from that, and he called himself Ace because nobody could pronounce his regular name.
Wow. Yeah.
So and he said somebody was always telling him like, "Yo, let's connect with that." I'm telling you, connect that. So as soon as he connected with that, he won the Stoker. Just like, wow. Hey, look, I told you. So there's a certain power in not hiding, you know what I'm saying? As a Black person, what it means to be Black. In reference back to like some of the things I said earlier about the whole white people, Black people, and that it's amazing to me that we can even be friends in this country with the history. Mm-hmm. I think it's very powerful to live in that authenticity as a Black person, to really give a voice to your Blackness, even in these white spaces.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because these white spaces, they don't need another white perspective. That's not going to help them grow or enrich them. They need your uniqueness to create value and to add a different complexion to maybe a already stagnant pool. You know what I mean? To keep the waters flowing. So it's very important, I feel, as an artist or as a human being, to live in your truth and your courage. Mm-hmm. Not to be offensive, not to be hateful, not to put people down, but to live in that authenticity. It enriches everybody around you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I told the lesson of that was very powerful. But I'm really excited about it. I mean, I have that. I've also. I'm in the Riesling this year, which is like a real nerdy. It's like one of the most nerdiest, pretentious things you could be a part of as a writer, right? It's like, not only do I write poetry, but I'm one of the best science fiction poetry writers in the world. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm from the hood. Actually, guys, I'm from the ghetto. You know what I mean?
You working with Stephen King and type of people,
man. Yeah, seriously, man.
You're on your way.
I'm not working with him, but I'm in a book with him.
Okay.
And the same thing. Michael Bailey is the editor of that book, and he's working with all of us. And he does amazing work. But yeah, I'm at that. He said something really powerful to me. I was like, "Oh my God, you got Stephen King!" Ah! And he was like, "Yo, man, you deserve to be here with him. Besides him, that's why you're in here with him. Besides him."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh no, fuck."
That's
I
powerful,
gotta
man.
maintain that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know.
All right, I got another one for you. You said Snoop Dogg.
Oh.
Snoop
Pierre the
Dogg.
Oh yeah,
Snoop
Pierre.
Dogg.
Snoop Lion.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, that's Pierre the Pigeon Hawk.
Jennifer Hudson. Come
It's
on, we could keep naming. You're a producer on that one.
Yeah,
I seen your name in bold.
Yeah, it's a powerful, it's a powerful thing to be a part of. I was there with it. The script was actually written years ago by Karen, who was also the main producer on it. And then the company that had the script, they lost, the rights to it. They took too long to do something with it. He got it back, and then we took it to Cannes, me and Chase. And Chase Murator, he really moved on it, really got it out there. We've been to Cannes 3 times just to say that. But the third time we went was for that reason, and ever since just watching the whole process of this movie coming together, helping to raise money for it, things like that. I've learned so much from it. It's a powerful movie called Pierre the Pigeon Hawk about the same thing I'm talking about in America. How America's a special place where 2 different things can come together and work together, even with the history that we have. I mean,
I never even thought about that.
A
Pigeon and a hawk.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
He's a pigeon hawk, right? That's the funny part about it, right? But it's gonna be a great kids movie. I think we have Hasbro. I probably can't say that, but with these people attached to it, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it and bringing it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a part of the creative team, but I'm really excited for it. I think really good people are trying to do really good things with it for a really good reason. So
yeah.
And plus, animation makes a shit ton of money, even if it's trash. So.
I bet.
It's a good thing to be a part of.
Nah, that's amazing, man.
It's a good thing to be a
Kids
part
are gonna show out and come out.
They will love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about now a little bit, boy. What are you doing in your present life now in terms of production, directing, writing?
Oh, I'm just trying to get laid, man.
No.
Yeah,
we out to the bar after this. You're fucking Wait.
Abort mission.
Wait. You know what? Before you answer that,
Kyrie, cut this shit.
you guys were talking about something else off camera about special females, Armenian girls. I'm dating one, right?
Boy.
How do you feel about woman of the, me dating a white girl, because sometimes that's a problem, and I don't know, man. Like,
I find that sex is the same no matter. I find that doesn't change based on the color.
Okay. I see.
I have no comments. I'm gonna let y'all 2 do your thing, man.
No.
I'm happily married.
But all serious, I'm not really in a position where I should be giving relationship advice. Might ruin your life.
I'm not.
But I will say this: you can take it or leave it.
We gonna leave it. So whatever you say. Hey man, listen. This is the Professional Podcast. I do not have to agree with my guests. Where's my camera? I don't have to agree with my guests. But this is Jamal Hodge's show today, okay? So this is your show. Say what you want.
I'm not no expert. I'm an unmarried guy. But I will say, as long as you're working together, not competing with each other, that's very important. As long as you know what you're stepping into when you step out of your own culture, and she has an honest assessment of that, and you do. I mean, you're kind of a, kind of high yellow, red bone guys. It won't be that bad. You know what I'm saying? But so it won't be that bad. You won't get too much shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh God.
I might be like, oh well, they won't shoot you at the honky tonk. You know what I'm saying? Then they'll be like, oh, maybe he's half. Maybe his paw was straightened away. Yeah. But honestly, I feel like I'm gonna say it. Love is love, and I I feel also that as long as you guys know what you're stepping into, there's unique challenges that come with being in an interracial relationship, especially when you're a person of color dealing with a Caucasian woman of any type. But I feel like, man, if people of the same gender are getting married and stuff like that, and we live in a bold new world where people accept each other, it shouldn't be a problem. You know, it shouldn't be a problem outside of Arkansas, Mississippi. There's a few states. A few states. You got about. You can go to like 35 states. Yeah, just stay in those 35 states.
I got you.
So, hey, let's go on a vacation to Mississippi. I don't know about that.
No, maybe Little Rock. That's about it.
Man.
Oh man, are you done? Can we get back to? So Jamal, we want to talk about something. Your new film, Under Thy Wing. Talk about that, the process. I had the honor of watching it last night. Mm-hmm. You are a tense writer, man. You are a tense writer. I remember one bar in the film that stuck out to me, and the little girl was 16. She was pregnant. I'm not breaking no rules, right?
No,
I can talk about it? Okay. She was 6 years pregnant. She was talking to her mother, and she said, and you wrote this, so this is on you. She was like, so, dad left you because how nasty you are. She was like, maybe your dad left you. I was like, the first thing I wanted to do was text you, but it was so late. I was like, Jamal, what are you going through, man? Why are you writing like this? That was deep. She was like, nah, maybe your dad just didn't want to have kids and he left you, not me. So, yeah, what goes through your mind with your writing process? Like, and I love you because, man, you're just so authentic. You're so yourself, and your work is so good that, you know,
Thank you, brother.
People just say, you know, whoever Jamal is, we know we're going to get the real Jamal. His work is going to speak for himself. But when you're writing like this and you're going through this process, like, what is your thought process when you're writing a film?
Have the courage to tell the truth. I mean, you know, I love my moms, but she used to say some of the wildest stuff to me. And a lot of, I find in the inner city, a lot of moms say the wildest stuff to their kids. Sometimes a lot of professional women say a lot of wild stuff. A lot of dads say the wildest stuff to their kids. Yeah. And we have to be honest about how we talk to our children.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see what that impact has on the child. Like how okay, one of the craziest things, you know, one of the craziest things about a parent abusing a child? Yeah. Is that a child can't not love their parents. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You don't have a choice. You're going to always love your parent. It's like this weird thing. If you hate your parent, you love your parent simultaneously. Yeah. And it creates a lot of confusion. Even your parents abused you or beat you or whatever. The worst part of it is that you still love that person. Yeah. Parents is, and as parents, we can never really, a lot of times parents don't comprehend who they are to their kids. Yeah. You're the first face of God in your kid's life. Yeah. And you're just looking like, I want to protect my kid. I want my kid to have the life that I planned out. I want them to be safe. By doing that, sometimes you get so emotional that you respond in a way that's so damaging to your child, but the child you don't realize that as a parent. Yeah. Because you don't realize what type of influence you have over this child and this child's identity. It's so absolute that it's hard to accept. So, and I wanted to make a movie where, you know, you would feel that in the audience as a parent.
I felt
God. Yeah, you'll be like, oh my God, have I said something similar? Or it'll force you to question things. Because you'll see the impact of your words and that how you can speak life or death into your children as a parent. So I wanted to. That's why, you know, in the film it's a short. So we sometimes we have to sensationalize things to kind of get the impact across a little more. And sometimes, you know, I'm an extreme guy, so I go a little too far. Or just I tiptoe on the line, you know. I tiptoe through the window.
But even
you know, but
even towards when I was looking at the end of it, you know, and She thought she died. Thought it was shooting,
You
and
can't
how
reveal-
like.
you can't reveal that.
Oh God! Never mind. Never mind. But it was powerful
Yeah,
to say,
the emotion.
and how that all comes together, and like even in the worst case scenario, there's love.
Yes.
And sometimes you have to realize it takes the extreme for you to realize the fault of your actions. I got it.
Yeah.
And I know you two don't have kids, but even when I was looking at it, or even thinking about, let's talk about the Kanye West doc.
Yeah.
Like how Miss Donda spoke so much life into him.
Yeah. Man.
And when I look at the situation she's going through now, and I was like,
It
you
has
can't
a lot of
replace
context.
that. There's
Yeah.
nothing.
No.
I don't care if you're worth 2 billion, 10 billion. There's nothing you
No.
can do to replace
Your mom.
your
Yeah.
mom and a mom that speaks life into you. And I was talking to y'all about, my daughter and how like sometimes I try to make her the most, it's like in a way I'm making her arrogant because I make her think that she can achieve and do anything from a young age.
To be depressed or
Exactly.
or thing, yeah.
And it's like sometimes I look at my daughter and she's so confident. I can go into her room and be like, yo, I'm disappointed today. Like I know. And it's like, you're disappointed? Give me 4 days, I'll make you undisappointed. Because my expectation of what she should be matters so much to her.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Just interject with that because you're saying you're making your daughter arrogant. Your daughter's a little black girl, mix or whatever, a woman of color. And she's gonna deal with so much negativity into her image. You know what I'm saying? That you're just balancing out the scales the way I see it. I think we definitely have to speak power into our women and to our children, especially. Because what they face out here is really it's rough. And sometimes they might overcompensate in the opposite direction because when people are kind of like broken down, they do one of two things. They shut down or they hide behind arrogance. Yeah. And because they want to feel like, oh, I don't need anybody. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. But on the inside, they're fragile and alone. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important that a man, her dad, the first man in her life, is speaking that confidence and that encouragement into her. It's very powerful. I don't think you should stop it at all. Yeah, I'm not. I don't care how arrogant she is.
She's gonna be a girl that's gonna be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
Like even from coding, even from I just put her in every different type of avenue. Like even stereotypes. Black people can't swim. Yeah, go swimming with my daughter. Go swim every Saturday. This morning I'm swimming.
It's just hard to swim with like weave. For like animal hair or Indian hair attached to you.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna let Gabe talk about that because Gabe is like a certified scuba diver. So Gabe, you could talk about. I don't know, Gabe. Is that statement accurate? Like, is it hard?
You know what? Let's talk about. You guys like Florida? I like Florida.
Oh, Florida. Oh, get.
Damn, Gabe, you date white chicks and you like Florida?
No, you gotta understand. There's a lot of those females out there that you're talking about. But look, they still go to Florida. They go out there on beaches. So
after
why not?
college, Gabe was in Florida. Gabe used to scuba dive, and he would search for like African ships in Florida, like African boats that sink, like through the passage.
Talk about it, Gabe. Why are you here? They're just looking at you like.
Talk about it, Gabe.
We were looking for this ship called the Guerrero. It sank with about 200 slaves on it.
Damn.
In the Florida Keys. And I was a maritime archaeologist at the time, inspiring to be more going deeper into that fields for the National Park Service.
You're like the 1% of the 1%. You're like a black scuba
And then
diver.
he was the driver. He was the driver for the United Nations for the Trump campaign.
Oh man, that's classified.
That's classified. Guess what, buddy? Sue the Professional Podcast. We'll love the headline.
Oh man.
Yo, man. What haven't Gabe done, man?
That's crazy, Gabe. That's dope. I've been wanting to do that. I've skydived. I've walked on volcano rocks. I've done all types of weird stuff. I'm trying to do like every element.
Yeah.
I wanted to go shark diving.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
Actually,
I did that in St.
Talking
John.
about maritime archaeology.
It was
and
with baby
everything.
sharks, though. I'm not gonna sit here and act
Samuel L.
tough.
Jackson. Samuel,
Sharks, bite a nipple off.
Yeah, like
nose.
it was with baby sharks. What's the nice sharks? What was the nice?
The nurse sharks.
Yeah, with nurse sharks.
Nurse
They weren't trying to. They were like swimming away from us. Like, chill out, bro.
I want to be in the cave with a great white
Nah, you could do that. I'm good.
Punch in the nose and the snout.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Samuel L. Jackson actually has a documentary where he's actually he's also looking for that same exact ship. But besides that, he's also diving in like different places with like the archaeology team that I was a part of for Diving with a Purpose. That's what it's called. But yeah, man. So
What's
if you
the
ever
purpose?
look on
the
like
purpose?
Amazon, Samuel L. Jackson like documentary in terms of like diving with
Trying
looking
to
for
kill
his
his black
history
ass.
and everything.
That's the purpose. They're gonna kill his black ass. They're gonna leave him there. I be scared. I be looking up for help. I see all these white faces just looking at me and it's over.
Oh man.
It's over.
This is Jamal Hodge episode today on the Professional Podcast. What Jamal Hodge say does not represent our views and our points.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're crazy, man. You are crazy, man.
Yeah, so let's go back to you again, of course. Let's
Yeah.
go back to you have a PBS documentary coming out as well.
Yeah.
Docu-series?
I'm working on one with Arkansas PBS with Craig Renaud,
Nice.
Brent's brother. We're doing one about people from the South that really influenced American culture and society.
Nice.
In a positive and way, and how like a lot of times storytellers, writers from the South, they really, impact just a bunch of stuff in the in American society. So that's what the show is.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I also know you've been traveling a little bit. You went to some universities, did some education.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Cuco College.
Yeah.
Cuco College. Great people. I had a great time there. They had us come up there. We showed the movie The Jump that won Black Star, I think, back in like 2016 or something like that. It's a great film. I mean, it's about black swimmers and about how like bullying and how the bullying can really affect. Don't allow people. You can, no matter what happened to you in your past, you can always reconnect to the things that you love.
Yeah.
Because the kid used to really love the water, and these bullies bullied him, and he lost his love for the water. But as an adult, he's finding the courage to jump back in. So it's like a metaphor for whatever's going on in your life, and stuff like that.
I mean, one thing that I'm noticing is that's kind of like a lot with you, man. Like you kind of like always find a way to like, you went through a hardship in your past, but you find a way to, reconnect with your past, but turn it into something more like powerful, beautiful that people can connect with, but you're making something more like, bigger out of it.
Yeah.
Seems like that's a lot. You're just constantly putting that back out there.
It's all part of my hustle, man.
Yeah.
There's a Palpatine told me this is the way. No. To world global contamination. No, I'm joking.
This is the way.
I'm about to say, Jamal, you gotta find somebody else to quote, man. I don't know. So we know you're into poetry. You're an amazing writer, sci-fi poetry. We want you to read something live for us right now on the pod. Read some of your work. Put the shades on.
I can do that.
Let them know what it's up.
I can do that.
You're in a book with Stephen King, so don't disappoint.
I'm going to read the opening to my novel that's yet to come out. It's a collection of poetry called "The Dark Between the Twilight."
Okay.
And the first poem of it is called "Artscape of Evils."
Okay. Let's get into it. Artscapes of Evil.
That's deep.
Evils.
Evils.
deep.
Plural.
That's deep.
Gotcha.
Indeed. Artscape of evils. Bare orgies of intolerant undoing. The great unmaking, demanding the degradation of beauty. In the unprecedented malice of peculiar craftsmanship. Continental gardens of a two-legged crop. Vomited forth in the violated image of God. Sprout ghastly imaginings of massacred flesh, ascending mortal conceptions of evil. To a howling art form, to baleful silence, behold the frightful method, meticulous formulas perfected in the organic machinery of stitched organs. Nauseous martyrs of willful sin, seduced to a one-sided affair, given to horrid pleasure, withering without rest, existing through grotesque transformation, a pride in living death. The herded audience, refined through timeless degradation, gaze upon unspeakable works with unnameable sounds.
That
We
was
gotta talk
deep.
off camera, man. You know, I got, you know, we're gonna email some people. But I'm about to do something, right? Gabe, I love you. Don't hate me, all right? Gabe is a writer.
Oh my god, am I gonna be
Gabe
reading
sent
something?
me something
Oh
fire
my
that I
God,
love.
bro.
But I'm not a writer.
Mm-hmm.
In context, I am. You know, I could write. You know, I got a minor in writing. A lot of people don't know that from Stony Brook. I took every high writing course.
Sister went to Stony Brook.
I'm working on memoir and things like that, so I can write. But as far as like storytelling, I'm working on that. Right? I could storytell my own story because it's a little bit easier when you're storytelling your own personal life, right?
Yeah.
But Gabe and little bro, Gabe little brother, which is my little brother, he's going to college, major, right? He wants to do journalism writing, so we got to connect him to Jamal. Part of the journey is your mentors, right? Part of the journey is, you know, learning from the people who's doing it at a high level. But Gabe, I'm putting you on the spot. Read something, Gabe.
Damn.
Come on.
Damn.
Come on, Gabe. Let's everybody snap,
All right, I
man.
guess I gotta find
Kyrie, Luca in the back. I know y'all not in frame, but let's snap. Come on, Gabe.
Scuba
Jamal.
diving.
Hold on, though. This is what we're going to do. Jamal, you can give him an honest opinion on the spot.
Oof.
Right? He's learning. But I want to hear what you think about it. If it's fire, y'all better connect next week. If it's not, you better give him tips. Let's go.
It's gonna start off scuba diving with a white woman.
Scuba dive.
With a white woman beside me, sharks circling, wanting to eat inside me.
Yo, tonight Gabe gonna send me a nasty text message like, you bastard, putting me on the spot. But I love him. He don't even know it. I'm throwing him out
Gabe's
of
the
hoop.
man.
Let's go, Gabe.
So
Let's go, Gabe.
this is
Go.
called perception, right?
Oh, he
that's
stole
so-
my
that's
TEDx
so-
title, but it's all right. I love him. He know what I'm working on, but it's all right. He get it. He's all right. Let's get it.
Wait, I'm sorry. I need the sunglasses.
Oh,
Let's go, Gabe.
Hold on. You're not gonna put on Jamal
Go.
Hodge sunglasses and not
Let's
kill
go,
it.
Gabe. That should look good on you, man.
Oh, let's get it.
I'm blind. I can't see.
Oh, that's how it started. Oh, you just. Hold on, I'm confused. Is that how it started?
Nah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, oh, he about to get crazy. I can't see. I can't see. She's blinding me. The child support is killing me. I thought she was about to go crazy.
Oh, he's spitting bars over there.
Child support
He's
with no
spitting bars.
kids.
And you can't see? God.
You can't see.
Nah. See, for me, I don't write poetry. I just write short stories.
Okay.
That's-
I got
that's
your
a little
story
bit
for y'all,
different.
too.
All right.
Okay,
So,
all right. We gonna go back and forth. Let's go.
Damn.
Let's go, Gabe.
a thin glass man stands tall in the midst of steel structures. Around him, birds sing gleefully, vehicles shriek painfully, and people flood the streets of their sanctuary. With a sense of divinity, the world seems to revolve around him. He is a central embodiment of the society these people created. He befriended time as it meant nothing to him. His face, proportional, Spartan posture, conditioned skinned. He defined beauty, but paid it no attention. He knew the answer to every question. His knowledge stretched throughout the paradoxes of the gaseous beings inhabiting the night skies. He was a star that provided people the energy they needed to strive, to live, to laugh, to dream. He was inspiration. He was perfection. However, even with the very knowledge that carried the worlds, he knew there was something missing. His eyes, like glaciers, reflecting the images of the organic beings surrounding him. He knew he was different. Wrinkles rested upon their cheeks growing old, with smiles portraying joy, their happiness. A warm liquid flooded their eyes, creating a river stream of salt drying upon their faces, their sadness. As a couple's fingers grasp one another's, a deep breath is compressed and is converted by the alveoli. The central organ receives the signal to pump timidly at a faster tempo, their lips delicate, touch gracefully, dancing softly together. The compassion they feel for each other creates envy, their love, their emotions. He did not carry any. He did not share this gift. He could not feel. Irony echoes throughout his mind, lingering, for perfection is but an idea fabricated by the great philosopher's virtues. To him, the ones revolving around him are the pure definition of his perfect. Their free will allows them to construct their own destiny, filled with luminous consciousness. They are the pen that skates across the paper. A little girl's mirrored image reflects off the glass statue. Her cerulean eyes met her own as the cold wind carried her soft hair. She touches her doppelganger's cheek and giggles innocently. Another hand grabs her arm, pulling her away. Her hand leaves an imprint on the fragile structure.
Stop playing with my bro. Snap. I'm sorry. We can't clap. We got snap. Let's go. That's what Jamal. Oh, he gave him a pound. Jamal, what you think? We get 5 pages on the Stephen King project? What y'all project?
I say
we need 5 pages.
He definitely got to holler at me because I want to put him in contact with some people.
Oh,
he says he's not a poet, but he's a poet.
He's a poet.
Yeah, that was poetry.
I read it and I was like,
"That's called." You know what that's called?
What's
that's
that?
called a prose poem.
Oh man, I don't know.
It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid of poetry and story at the same time.
Mm.
So like, yeah, that's beautiful.
See, I like to write and like have this idea about like, let's say there's a drink in front of me or an apple, right? I'll just write a whole bunch of descriptions about that drink or cup and glass, and I just won't ever say what it is, and then I'll try to have some like fucking meaning behind it. Like, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I stay up too late at night, and
his phone is out. Take your number. Lock his number in. I'm telling you, man. People don't even realize how special they are. Sometimes they just do things for fun and love.
We never do. So the only fools think they're great. Usually the great don't think they're great. That's what makes them great. That's what makes them continue to strive.
Word.
You know,
but that's sad in a way.
To be great,
you ever work so hard you feel like you're not doing enough.
But to be great is to be sad. Think about it.
I know.
It's to willfully pursue loneliness.
Oof.
Mm.
To be the best in the world is to willfully pursue loneliness.
Yo, I can't be talking to y'all poets, man. I'm about to call my psychiatrist. Not even funny, man. Like, oh, this not funny, man. Like, y'all both now. I feel like, yo, where my camera at? I was walking through the streets of Webster, and he touched me. Let me stop. Like, I don't got no poem. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, I only got TED Talks, and I'm not reading those yet. But man, nah, for real, this is amazing. Hold on, Jamal, you about to hit on another one? What you know? You hitting up Stephen King? So we need 5 pages. Gabe need 5 pages. Come on, Jamal.
I got one more.
Oh, okay.
It's a story. It's a prose poem.
Put the shades on. Put the shades on. You can't read without shades. Put the shades on. Let's go.
You try to make this shit as hard as possible. We can't even see with these.
That's what makes y'all even. That's what makes y'all even more special, man.
So this is my first time reading this publicly. It's called A Fruit Called Wrath.
Okay.
It's a very feminist story, actually. Just in case you guys saw those messages from some of my comments. All right. A Fruit Called Wrath.
I got you. Yo, it's good to let the audience know what's about to hit them. Let's get it.
Bologna pretended not to see the one who waited, her second shadow rising to rightful stature whenever her husband's fists rattled the bones of her face. She wobbled on her legs now by the familiar tree, unsure what parts of the wetness were blood or tears. Those useless tears which changed nothing. The shadow at the corner of her vision beckoned in night whispers. Consider the children. Bologna's heart throbbed painfully. Wicked hopes of a miracle burned to spiritual ash, ungraspable. Consider the children. She remembered his strong hand squeezing the juice from her neck, drop by drop, into a bucket of strained pleas. Not in front of the girls, she had begged. Please, don't let them see. In the delirium of the moment, the frenzied flailing of hands and feet, her daughters screaming, the oldest just 7, Camilla, ran over and bit her father's thigh hard as she could. He kicked the little girl in turn, sending her rolling in a small ball of limbs across the living room floor. And the monster, still thinking himself a man, let Bologna drop in a heap. He stared at the grief of his daughters, one sobbing against the wall, the other hidden beneath the kitchen table. "You see what you make me do?" he roared, vomit breath smelling of liquor. "Sorry," he uttered. Then he remembered himself. "Camilla, do that again and I'll straighten you out like your mother, little bitch." He lumbered off, as if proud, into the night of the woods. Not gone, never gone. Consider the children, what they will become, what they will allow. Bologna looked into the darkness. "Who are you?" "Daughter, don't you recognize your own rage?" "What is your name?" "All names feminine, all faces fair, bearer of the world, caretaker of thy wrath." Bologna felt the primordial hunger pouring from the shadow woman into herself. Fury ushered her fully into the shadows, where what was blurred came into focus. She saw the shadow woman wore her face. What becomes of a man's violations upon a woman's flesh? Don't we bear them in the womb of our pain? Don't we give and give and give until we're empty, our dreams sacrificed for the joy of their children? We bear the burden of life, and still they bring us death. Daughter, tell me, where do the sins of men dwell when the world forgets them? They gather in the soil of a garden empty of mothers, where they coalesce into a seed watered by our sisters' tears. They grow a tree of obsidian bark and honey gold leaves. The tree harvests the pain of the greater half of the world and bears a fruit called wrath. I am the fruit of the tree, you and me. She knew where to go, to gather the pitchfork from the garden, divining its many uses. She put the kids to bed, promising a new morning. Only Camilla suspected, a gleam in her eye, of Valkyrie's hue, approving what mother had to do. The monster returned and called her to his bed. Bologna went, placing the pitchfork where he could not see. It was her fault, he said as fact, while indulging in gentle touch. Oh, he loved her, but her mouth was just too much. Bologna kissed her husband to settle him to rest. She did her best to temper the shadow in her chest, a kraken of rage, begging for blood and flesh. Shadow hands helped her guide the pitchfork to its proper place, into his eyes, his groin, and his face. The litany of screams, as if from her wildest dreams, wonderfully burdened with magnificent pleas. Think of the children. Bologna also thought of herself and her own avengement, poking the monster again and again till her passion scattered chunks of his head in mangled pieces upon the bed. Be free, daughter, you and me. Sitting upon the gore, red-stained in peace, Bologna released all thoughts of the slaughtered, resting serenely within the hope of a family, unburdened by the wants of men. Be free.
Damn. I'm about to go hug my mom after this, man.
That was deep. I got a question right after this. Where does that stem from? That writing, both of y'all can answer this. Like, where does that writing stem from? Is it through, is it just through imagination? Is it from stories that you hear from other people? Is it a personal experience? Like, where do you find that within you? Something so deep, something so powerful.
That's like the worst question to ask a writer.
Why? Why?
Because it's unanswerable.
Oh, okay.
Technically, it's unanswerable, but we can try, but it'll never fully encompass what it is. I mean, the way I explain it is that we are a filter God. There's a universal mind, a universal intelligence. As artists, we're an antenna. We're very connected to it. We tap into it. We get a signal, a message, and it passes through the filter of our inequities. So it's never pure. And we do our best to get as close to the pure signal as we can when we manifest it into this material world.
Hold on. How the heck you gonna say it's a bad question and you answered this so pure and so straight? Something that's a bad question you don't have an answer for. You'd have been like,
it's a hard question.
It's a hard question. There we go.
You know what, though?
Because I really relate to that because people
Yeah.
like even Gabe, Luca, they be like, yo, where do you come up with somebody ask you this
can't
question in a
yeah.
business meeting? I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know the answer to why I write certain things or why I present myself a certain way or why I say certain things.
Tapped in.
But the way you
Exactly.
just explained that, you've been asked that before?
Maybe.
I'm gonna say because that was too natural.
You messing
I
me
would
up.
say-
That was too natural.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that
You know
was
what I'm
no,
trying to
but it was real because every time I've been asked that question, I've been stumped. Like, yo, where does this come from? Where does this
Yeah.
speech come from? And I'll be like,
Because it's not really fully explainable outside of the
Yeah.
fact that you are tapping into something greater than yourself.
Mhm.
And I think that's exactly what it is. So like it's tapping in. So for me, it's always the idea where you have two minds, and that's your conscious mind, the one that we're looking at each other, but then there's also the subconscious mind. And I feel like when I'm writing, like, you know, it's always different. It's always like I have to establish a certain mindset for me to like even like understand that I need to write my thoughts on paper. But it's never in like the first 10, 15 minutes of me writing. It's always like later on down the line where I'm just like, I forget that I'm even there, like in that fucking zone. I just start writing, and that's just like the conscious mind connecting with the subconscious mind. And that's just like that connection where, you know, sometimes you don't know how or where those thoughts are coming from, but like it's just like it's natural emotion that's just happening, and it's somehow appearing on that piece of paper in front of you. Whatever the fuck happened in your day, those thoughts, or maybe whatever dreams that you're experiencing, you know, everyone's different. It's always going to come out different. It's never the same. It's just coming, it's flowing, and it's just that flow that you just got to go with sometimes.
Nah, but this interview has been nothing short of amazing.
Thank you, brother.
We appreciate
definitely.
you for coming. And before you leave us today, we have to ask you one very important question.
Yes, sir.
And that question is, what is a professional winner to you? You can put on the shades and answer if you want.
No. Well, you know, a professional winner to me, honestly, a lot of people overemphasize in our society what winning means. It's a very abstract thing for the individual. But I think winning in life, a professional winner is someone who lives their life through courage, honesty, and impact. It's basically, you win when our lives are so fleeting. We're here in the blink of the eye and then we're gone. And we forget that. And we think we have forever. And we think we act as if we're immortal a lot of times. And we're not. We're so brief. We're like fireflies in the scheme of things. So a professional winner is, with this brief time, if you can create echoes throughout generations, if you can make, everybody's gonna suffer, it's inevitable. But if you can alleviate just a little bit of that suffering with your time here from what you leave behind, that's what makes you a winner. It's not materialism. It's not these trivialities. It's not these parties. You know, when you're dead, it doesn't matter how much times you partied or you didn't. Yeah. You know, it matters. You're going to be dead a lot longer than you're going to be alive. So it's kind of like, if you can make your life meaningful for others in their experience of suffering to get them into growth and then eventually into happiness, and if your life can lead them there into a revelation of self, that's what makes you a professional winner. You know what I mean? Because you won the game of life. You beat death, in a sense. And that's basically what most of us are just trying to do. Whether we're trying to do it through having kids or having our name on a building, we're trying to beat death. And that's the ultimate win, is to beat death.
Jamal, thank you so much for coming on the platform. Thank
Definitely
you so
appreciate
much
it.
for being here with us. We appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all, man.
I'm
Really
excited
big
to
time.
continue to see you on this amazing journey. I know you've done amazing things, but this is not the end of the road.
Just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. And thank you guys for tuning in, for watching the Professional Winner podcast today. And we're out.
Peace, guys.
Bada bang.
Shout out to my white folks. I don't hate you. I love you.